Being too good is destroying your life right now, and the Stoics knew exactly why this happens. What they understood about goodness will completely change how you see yourself and others. You're trying to be a good person. You help people when they ask. You're kind and understanding. You give second chances and third chances. You avoid conflict and try to make everyone happy. And somehow, despite all of this goodness, your life is falling apart. People take advantage of you. Your generosity goes unappreciated. You feel exhausted and resentful. The Stoics saw this pattern constantly, and they understood something crucial. There's a fatal difference between being good and being too good. And that difference is what separates strong people from people who get destroyed by their own virtue. So what's the fatal mistake of being too good? It's sacrificing yourself for people who wouldn't sacrifice anything for you. It's giving endlessly to people who only take. It's being so focused on being good that you forget to be wise. Being good without wisdom is just being a victim with better marketing. Marcus Aurelius wrote something important about this. He said that just because you're virtuous doesn't mean you should be stupid about it. You can be kind without being exploitable. You can be generous without being a doormat. You can be forgiving without being naive. But too good people don't make these distinctions. They think goodness means unlimited tolerance, endless giving, and zero boundaries. That's not virtue, that's self-destruction. Here's what happens when you're too good. You help someone once and they appreciate it. You help them twice and they expect it. You help them a third time and they feel entitled to it. By the fourth time, you're not being kind anymore. You're being used. And you keep doing it because you've tied your identity to being the good person, the helper, the one people can count on. But they're not counting on you out of respect. They're counting on you because you've trained them to expect your sacrifice. Let me tell you exactly how being too good destroys you. First, it attracts the wrong people. Manipulators and users can spot a too good person from a mile away. They see someone who won't say no, who feels guilty setting boundaries, who will sacrifice their own needs to help others. And they take full advantage. They come to you with sob stories. They make you feel responsible for their problems. They guilt-trip you when you even think about saying no. The Stoics understood this perfectly. Epictetus taught that you need to be selective about who you let into your life. Not everyone deserves your help. Not everyone deserves your energy. Some people are like black holes that will take everything you give and still demand more. Too good people can't see this because they want to believe everyone has good intentions. They want to believe that if they just give a little more, people will change. But takers don't change, they just take until there's nothing left. Second way being too good destroys you is it makes you resentful. You give and give and give, but deep down, you're keeping score. You remember every time you helped someone. You notice when they don't reciprocate. You feel hurt when your sacrifice goes unappreciated. And slowly, this resentment builds until you either explode or you become bitter and cynical about helping anyone. But here's the thing the Stoics knew. If you're giving with the expectation of getting something back, you're not actually being good. You're making a transaction, and it's a dishonest one because the other person doesn't know they're supposed to pay you back. True goodness expects nothing in return. But too good people aren't truly good. They're people pleasers who secretly want appreciation and reciprocation, and when they don't get it, they feel cheated. Marcus Aurelius wrote about doing good without expectation. When you help someone, you do it because it's the right thing to do, not because you expect gratitude or payback. If appreciation comes, fine. If it doesn't, that's fine too. You helped because that's who you are, not because of what you'd get from it. This mindset prevents resentment because you're not making a mental ledger of who owes you what. Third problem with being too good is it robs people of growth. When you constantly rescue people from the consequences of their own choices, you're not helping them, you're enabling them. They make bad decisions and you bail them out. They don't plan ahead and you cover for them. They create problems and you solve them. So they never learn. They never grow. They never develop the capability to handle their own life because you keep handling it for them. Seneca understood this. He wrote that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let people struggle, let them face consequences, let them figure things out on their own. When you protect people from all difficulty, you're making them weaker, not stronger. Two good people don't see this because helping feels good. It makes them feel needed and valuable, but they're not actually helping. They're creating dependent people who can't function without someone rescuing them. Here's another fatal aspect. Being too good makes you ignore red flags. Someone shows you who they are through their actions, but you ignore it because you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. They lie to you, but you believe their excuses. They disrespect your boundaries, but you forgive them. They take advantage of your kindness, but you convince yourself they didn't mean it. You're so committed to being good and understanding that you refuse to see reality. The Stoics were big on seeing things as they actually are, not as you wish they were. Epictetus taught that you should observe people's character through their actions over time. One mistake is understandable. A pattern is who they are. But two good people give infinite chances because they think that's what good people do. They think judging someone's character based on their consistent behavior is being mean or judgmental. It's not. It's being wise. Let's talk about how being too good destroys your self-respect. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you're telling yourself that other people's needs matter more than yours. Every time you let someone disrespect you without consequences, you're telling yourself you don't deserve respect. Every time you sacrifice your well-being for someone who wouldn't do the same for you, you're saying you're not valuable. Marcus Aurelius was fanatical about self-respect. He believed that maintaining your dignity and principles was non-negotiable. You could be kind and generous, but never at the cost of your own integrity or well-being. Two good people violate this constantly. They bend themselves into pretzels trying to accommodate everyone else. They tolerate behavior they shouldn't tolerate. They give up things that matter to them. And slowly, they lose themselves in the process. Now here's how the Stoics avoided this trap. They had clear principles about goodness that included wisdom. Marcus Aurelius didn't help everyone who asked. He evaluated whether helping would actually benefit the person or just enable them. He considered whether the person deserved help based on their character and effort. He made sure his help wasn't depleting him to the point where he couldn't fulfill his real responsibilities. Seneca was even more direct about this. He wrote that you should help those who will make good use of your help. Don't waste your resources on people who will squander them. Don't sacrifice yourself for people who don't value the sacrifice. Be strategic with your goodness. Give where it will actually make a difference, not just wherever someone asks. This sounds harsh to two good people. They think everyone deserves help regardless of their character or choices. But the Stoics understood resources are limited. Your time, your energy, your money, these are finite. If you give them to people who waste them, you have nothing left for people who would use them well. Being indiscriminately good isn't virtuous. It's foolish. Here's the truth that two good people refuse to accept. Goodness without boundaries is weakness. Generosity without discernment is foolishness. Kindness without self-respect is self-destruction. You're not being a good person by letting others take advantage of you. You're being a naive person who's confusing doormat behavior with virtue. The Stoics had a framework for this. They believed in the four cardinal virtues: wisdom, justice, courage, and self-discipline. Notice that wisdom comes first. Goodness without wisdom is just blind niceness that causes as much harm as good. You need wisdom to know when to help and when to let people face consequences. You need wisdom to distinguish between people who deserve your help and people who are exploiting you. Justice means treating people as they deserve to be treated based on their character and actions. Not everyone deserves the same level of trust, generosity, or access to you. Two good people treat everyone the same regardless of how those people behave. That's not justice. That's naive egalitarianism that ignores reality. Courage means standing up for yourself and your boundaries even when it makes people upset. Two good people avoid conflict at all costs. They'd rather be taken advantage of than risk someone being mad at them. But the Stoics knew that sometimes the right thing to do is the thing that causes conflict. Sometimes you need courage to say no, to set boundaries, to walk away from people who are using you. Self-discipline means maintaining your principles even under pressure. Two good people abandon their boundaries the moment someone guilt trips them or makes them feel bad. They lack the discipline to stick to their standards when someone is pushing against them. The Stoics practiced saying no even when it was uncomfortable. They practiced maintaining boundaries even when people criticize them for it. Being good is important. The world needs more genuinely good people. But being too good, being good without wisdom or boundaries or self-respect, that's not helping anyone. It's destroying you while enabling others. The Stoics showed us there's a better way. Be good, but be wise about it. Be generous, but be selective. Be kind, but maintain your boundaries. Be forgiving, but don't be naive. Start evaluating who deserves your help and who's exploiting you. Some people are going through genuine hard times, and your help could make a real difference. Help them. Other people are making the same mistakes repeatedly and expecting you to bail them out every time. Let them face consequences. That's not being mean, that's being wise. Start setting boundaries and enforcing them. Decide what behavior you will and won't accept. Decide how much you're willing to give before it becomes detrimental to you. Decide which principles you won't compromise no matter who asks, and then hold those lines firmly even when people get upset. People will test your boundaries, that's guaranteed. If you cave every time, you're teaching them your boundaries are negotiable. Start expecting reciprocity in your relationships, not keeping score obsessively, but having a general sense of balance. Are you the only one giving? Are you the only one making sacrifices? Are you the only one compromising? If yes, that's not a real relationship. That's you being used. The Stoics believed in mutual benefit. You help people who help you. You're generous to people who are generous back. That's not being transactional. That's being realistic about how healthy relationships work. Stop equating goodness with unlimited tolerance. Being good doesn't mean accepting disrespect, lies, manipulation, or exploitation. Being good doesn't mean sacrificing your mental health, your resources, or your dignity. Being good doesn't mean giving to everyone who asks, regardless of whether they deserve it or will use it well. The Stoics were genuinely good people who did enormous good in the world, but they did it wisely. They helped strategically. They gave with boundaries. They maintained their principles and their self-respect while being generous and kind. That's the model. Be good, but don't be too good. Be kind, but don't be foolish. Be generous, but protect yourself. That's how you make a real difference without destroying yourself in the process.